Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very, very special video. We are actually going to start working on the bodywork on the Aprilia. And I know I kind of lied to you last episode and I said that we were going to start doing the clutch cover, except we're actually going to switch the process around of how we're actually going to make the carbon fiber parts. Instead of wet laying them and pressing them in by hand, we're going to vacuum bag the parts on the covers, so they'll be 10 times stronger and a lot less weight. But in today's episode, we are going to start building the tail. Let's get to work.
Yeah.
All right, so as you guys can see, I have started to take off a lot of the decals and pull the graphics kit off of the tail itself. And you can see that the seat, yeah, it looks like crap, but basically I marked out the line around the seat and where I want my two-piece tail to be. You can see when this is on the bike, this actual contour right here is gonna carry that line so that it doesn't catch on this part of the tank right here where it, you know, it messed it up, taking it on and off. So it'll basically separate like this, and just, you know, it'll be a lot easier to, for one, take it on and off, but two, when we disconnect the battery, you know, after a track day and not drain on the battery, it'll be a lot easier because we'll just take the seat pan basically off the top of the bike instead of the whole tail off the bike. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cut this and separate this, make it a two-piece tail. And after I get done cutting, I'm gonna sand all this stuff down and get it super, super smooth so we can build molds from it. So today I'm actually gonna be showing you guys how to build a split mold. It's gonna be a two-part mold of the right side and the left side of the tail. But you've seen me sand before, you guys have seen me cut before. I'm just gonna time lapse it and basically get this stuff ready. All right, so I'm sorry I didn't really time lapse. I mean, like I say, you guys have already seen a bunch of sanding, but what I've done is I've smoothed this with 400 grit a couple times and used some filler primer to make sure there's no holes, no nothing in it. It's absolutely smooth. And now I just went over it, wet sanded 1000 grit. So I cleaned it with alcohol. And just like you guys seen in the last video, now we're gonna build the flange. So what's gonna make this different on this model is because we can't make one mold for this big complex piece. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some foam board and basically make a spine that's gonna go all the way around this, and then on that back part, all the way to that gap there. All right, so now we got the poster board in here and we've made our flange. Now we're gonna hot glue it. And it doesn't really matter about this side because we're just focusing on this side right here. So we're gonna hot glue it in, and once it's in place, then we'll get to the actual Play-Doh, modeling clay, and we'll get this thing ready to mold. All right, so I just finished putting the modeling clay all around the flange. So now what I'm gonna do is the first step of getting your mold ready to lay the carbon fiber or the fiberglass is we are going to wax the mold. So we're gonna use our particle paste and wax 5 to 7 times, and then we'll grab our PVA and start layering that on. So all right, so now that we have everything waxed 5 times, buffed off, now we're gonna take our PVA and are going to take our foam brush and, like always, put one light kind of mist coat, you know, real light, and then we'll come back and put 2 flow coats. If you haven't worked with PVA before, just like we say in every video we do, definitely take your time with the PVA. It's prone to run. So just keep spreading it around, keep an eye on it, and make sure you get absolutely no runs in this, because if you do, you're gonna have to take it off and start your project all over. All right, so we just put the third and final layer of PVA on. We did have some splooges, but I definitely think it'll come out all right. And plus, the finished product, when we make the carbon fiber parts, they're actually gonna get refinished with clear too. So it's all right. But after this dries, in about 45 minutes, we're gonna come back and start layering our gel coat on it. All right, that's first layer of gel coat done. So we're gonna let that cure for about 30 minutes and then start layering up another 3 to 4 layers of gel coat before we're ready to lay the carbon fiber. All right, so we just did the 5th and final layer. Nice flowy, real thick gel coat. And I'm gonna let this dry for about 35 to 45 minutes. And when it's just tacky to the touch, but none of the gel coat really sticks to your finger, then we'll go ahead and we will start laying the carbon fiber, you know, chopped squares, and then we'll do the actual 2x2 twill, the big sheets of it on top of it. All right, guys, I am officially beat. It's like 3 a.m. and I just put the 4th layer of carbon fiber on the back side of this thing. Got all the air bubbles out. Basically smoothed it down. Sorry if I'm not all cheerio, oh chap. It's just so late in the morning, putting so much time in this. We'll get back at it first thing in the morning and trim this up a bit, and then we'll take this flange piece off right here, the poster board. We'll pull this off, and then we'll do the other side of the mold tomorrow. All right, so we just pulled the foam board flange off of everything we did yesterday. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean off all of the modeling clay and get this perfectly clean. And then we'll start repeating the steps, waxing it up and waxing the flange. And then we will lay our PVA and we'll start molding the left side of the tail. All right, first layer of gel coat on there. It's not the thickest to start with, just so the extra layers that we put on there, the gel coat has something real good to stick to. So first layer done, we'll do another 4 layers and then we'll get it ready to lay the carbon fiber on and complete the mold. All right, people, we are gonna call that a night. The left side is now done. It's still not trimmed yet, of course. We're gonna do that last. But we have made a split mold. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this dry overnight. First thing in the morning, we'll take the Dremel and we'll go ahead and we'll trim around, you know, all the edges and get it nice and smooth. And we'll trim our flange down, throw some bolts through it, but we'll split it, see how good it came out. All right, guys, hopefully it's like Christmas Day. The split mold is all cured, ready to go, nice and firm. So I got my grinder down, my cutoff wheel. We're gonna start trimming it, cutting it, and then we'll split the mold and see how good the mold looks. All right, so we officially have made a tail mold. I didn't clean this up or nothing, but if you do attempt this yourself, I want to give you a few pointers. For one, when you're laying down the gel coat, you definitely want to put something behind the actual backside of the part, because we were having a lot of the gel coat to where it wrapped around the backside and it started to crack off, as you see right here. And also we were unable to get the part out successfully. So I had to break my tail just to be able to get it out. So you live and you learn from your mistakes, and the next time you do it, you won't have these problems. Number 2 that I've learned from this, and this is probably the number 1 thing that I will never do again. I wanted my part perfectly smooth. You know, like I showed you guys, I sanded it down and primed it and everything and got it perfectly smooth. And you can see all of this freaking primer has stuck to the mold. Now, because I have PVA on and I'm gonna finish this mold anyways, it'll come out 100%, so our parts will look perfect. But it was just such a pain in the ass trying to pop the mold off the original plug because of that damn primer. So like I say, 2 things. With your gel coat, try to put some kind of flanging or at least tape on the back to where the gel coat doesn't seep, you know, behind the actual line of the part. And number 2, don't use primer on your part. It's better if it's painted to just sand it down, even if it looks like shit with Bondo and stuff like that. Just sand it down perfectly smooth and do not use primer or clear coat the part before. But yeah, it came out pretty nice. I'm definitely happy with it. I mean, as you can see, these 2 parts will fit together like that, and then we will be able to make our tail. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you like this build and the craziness that we're doing here, building our own carbon fiber parts, please subscribe. If not, give me a thumbs up anyways on your way out, and we'll see you on the next one.